Welcome back, Matadors. I'm Wyatt Smith.
And I'm Juanita Lozano.
On this episode, we'll cover your first impressions of the new school.
After that, we'll take a look at the new medical facilities.
We'll also take you on a tour of the new Matador Performing Arts Center.
And finally, we'll take a look at some of the old pieces from the old high school that traveled with us here.
This is MatCast. It's pretty easy to tell that the community is pretty impressed with the new school. But what about the students of SHS? Luckily for us, Sinida and Annalisa interviewed students around campus to get their first impressions of the new school.
I was very impressed with the school. I think it is absolutely top-notch. The technology is fantastic. The layout is great. It's exactly what our students deserve. It allows them to get to and from class better. I think it's a better atmosphere. It's a better atmosphere for academic studies, and I think all around it's fantastic for the kids. The community was able to get behind the students, show the support for all the kids that attend here, and let them know they're truly our future. So we want to invest our time, resources, and money into our future, which is the students.
The new high school, I feel as if more students are going to start coming to Seguin High School because we have such a nice and big school. So people are going to be like, oh, they have the Jumbotron, they have the new high school, maybe it's a better community now, because we used to have kind of a bad reputation, and I feel like it's going to start going up now that we have the new school. We have a lot of resources now, like we have the library and it's all fancy, so maybe it'll help people study more.
I just think that visitors that come here see Seguin a little different. Now we have this new school, so I believe the community has a little bit more pride in this new building. It's impacted the students, I believe, the same way. I just feel like kids want to come to school. They want to be a part of this new building, and I'm excited for their future. I hope they are too.
We've seen that with the new school, different programs have benefited from the change, even the program that trains to change lives. Karen and Brooklyn got a deeper look into what exactly replaced the Earthkin Health Science Academy.
We've all heard of the medical facilities, but do we really know what goes on in their classes? This week we decided to sit down with the students and teachers to find out more about what goes on behind the scenes in the medical classes and see how they feel about their new labs.
Well, this facility is better than our previous facility. It's brighter, the lights are great, it's much more spacious. We have 3 labs instead of our 2 small ones that we had at the other facility. I did love the other facility. It was a quaint old 103-year-old building.
I think it's better on with hands-on stuff, just so you can actually have a visual of what you're learning about. Classrooms are quite a bit bigger than they were last year at Mary B, and we also have a lot of new stuff to work with. The skeletons were here last year, but there's just a lot of different stuff. We have this bed, and we have all of this other stuff in this new room. So
this is my first year here at Seguin High School, and actually this is my first time to teach at the high school level. So I'm definitely seeing some differences. I'm seeing much younger students than what I'm used to teaching. So it's fun and it's challenging at the same time to make it interesting to that age group.
After our interviews, Ms. Haguire was generous enough to give us a tour of the facility and show us what they do in the classes.
See, on this young lady, we have special booties that prevent pressure from the heels. These could also be used on the elbows as well. The pressure points that we're most concerned about would be the heels, the elbows, the back, right at the end of the spine. Other safety considerations are always making sure the call light is within reach. So when we do our personal care skills, we have our linen cart where we have all of our linen supplies. Okay, so this is Harry Hemoglobin. He is a blood drop that draws attention to the need for blood donations. We will be sponsoring our first blood drive for Seguin High School on Thursday, September 28th, all day long from 8:30 to 3:30. Please encourage your parents, people in the community, everyone to come donate blood.
The band, choir, and theater department have brand new facilities to practice, perform, and perfect their arts in. Here's Andrea and Maddie to give us a deeper look.
When it came time to tear down the old auditorium, we had been there with our storage and all of our things for, I would guess, probably since I was in high school. So that was 2003 when I left. So it's been at least probably 15 to 20 years of stuff and then some that had accumulated. But we moved to Sagert, and we really became a traveling company. So we would pack my car every day with stuff, and it would go to Sagert, and then we'd pack it back at Sagert, and we'd bring it all to the high school and work there. So that was exhausting.
Performing at TLU and at the Texas Theater, it was kind of like having a traveling show. For our competition, One Act Play, we traveled to different high schools to do it, and what we did is we'd have our public performance at the Texas Theater. And it was different, since the Texas Theater their stage is about, I don't know, it's like 10 feet by 10 feet. It's a really small stage, but the reason why we'd practice there is because they had a real light board and a real sound board, and we couldn't get TLU. For the children's show and musical every year, we performed at the TLU Jackson Auditorium, and it was really nice. It was a lot bigger than any space that we had.
But now that we have our own facility back, it's really been an adjustment, because we're having to get used to what it's like to be in charge of making sure that other people coming in are well taken care of. We actually now have the need for having that house crew that's trained on a lot of different responsibilities and numerous things.
A great advantage of having this new facility is that we have so much space to store all of our props and our set, and we have different costume rooms, we have different dressing rooms and makeup rooms, and a whole set room for all of our furniture and everything.
I'm very excited. It's like my first year in theater, so it's a great experience being able to use this state-of-the-art facility, and it's like stepping out into something new. It's such a good thing that it's so nice, and I don't know, I'm just excited to see how it's going to turn out, since we have such great room to work with. It's kind of like we're setting a record. We're making history, because we're the first people. This is our first show of the year, so it's we're the first cast members to perform on this stage, and it's just such an amazing experience, be able to say that you were one of the first plays ever performed on this this new stage and this new facility. It's just a great experience, and I guess knowing that, it makes it all that more exciting and just more fun. You be able to enjoy it more.
Although the Seguin High School we used to know and love was replaced this year, there are some things that traveled with us to the new school to remind us of what used to be.
There's a lot to love about the new Seguin High School. Some cool things that have been incorporated into the design are the relics from the old school. Throughout the campus, we have a Seguin Liberty Bell, a piece of the gym floor from Tom Crump Gym, and a time capsule. We interviewed 2 teachers, and they showed us some of their pieces of home they brought from the old high school.
I started teaching journalism the January of 2013, and I took over 318, which is our journalism room. I know that for us, just in the short time that I got to spend there, we would be in 318 before school and after school until the sun went down sometimes, and even after.
So I wasn't expecting to get the 600 sign. But a couple of days after school let out, one of my former students who was working at the school at the time had asked permission to take the 600 signs off the 600 building, and they told her okay. And she called me and said, "Hey, Miss Noble, I'm on my way to your house." And when she got there, she was like, "Look what I got you." So she took one of them, and I took one of them, because the 600 building is kind of like my home away from home.
We took the 318 off the door, we took the on-air sign off of the Matt Cave door, and then we also took down the darkroom sign, which I was literally up there ripping it off of the wall because I was so bound and determined it was going to go with me.
So this is a bulletin board that I made out of the old ceiling tile above my head. And then 607 is the room I started in, and then I moved to 604, and then I moved to 2030. And so I really wanted all of them because they all meant something to me, even though 604 was my home for the longest. All of them meant something to me because I had, students and memories that I cared about from all of those different rooms.
Our new room is nice, it's not home yet because we haven't lived here long enough, but I wanted to make sure we brought some of those little relics with us to make it feel like home when we moved into the new school, because that room was such a huge part of our identity as the journalism department, and I think it was just important to me, but also important to the kids that we have some of those things to remind us where we came from.
With a new year, new school, and new programs, we can't wait to see what our Matadors will accomplish this year.
Well, that's it for today's news. This has been Juanita Lozano.
And Wyatt Smith.
Have a great weekend, SHS.
Ready, set, Wyatt.
Okay, go.
With a new year, new school, and new programs, we can't wait to see what our Matadors will accomplish this year. Luckily for us, Zenaida and Annalisa interviewed the students.
We've seen...
Recording?
Yes. Can Health Science Academy. Wait, is it noticeable though?
Yes.
I think you're okay. I think you'll just get made fun of on I got numb my hand.
Hurry up, Wyatt. We don't have time.
That's not helping you.
I'm not, because
you can't rush greatness.
If not, we're doing this after this meeting because I'm not missing this meeting.